Time now for our rants and raves of the week, starting with Dan.
Well, I have a rant for the New York Times because we've heard a lot about native advertising. Well, native advertising is an old concept, and you can go back for years, and various oppressive regimes around the world like to take out these wonderful advertorials in newspapers and magazines extolling the virtues of their government. Well, the New York Times today ran something called Russia Beyond the Headlines, which is a monthly feature put together by the Russian Gazette, which is owned by the Russian government. Now, this has been going on for quite a while. The Washington Post has run it. Other newspapers have run it. Everybody's taken criticism for it. But what seemed particularly egregious about the Times doing this at this particular time, by the way, it is labeled as a paid advertising supplement if you look at the very fine
Only in fine print.
Exactly. Is the timing with all of this tension going on with Ukraine and Crimea. My favorite part is they are flogging an interview with Mikhail Gorbachev that appears only online, and it says, Crimea has proclaimed its desire to be with Russia. This is happiness. And I mean, it's like Soviet-era propaganda, and it shouldn't be in the Times.
Roy, what do you have?
Well, I had to say something about that. Do you think the Times should have just killed it?
I don't think they should have accepted the ad. Sometimes news organizations don't accept ads.
That's true. That's true. Okay. Well, what I wanted to talk about, we mentioned the term clickbait. We have a little situation like that with the Advance newspaper group and their paper, The Oregonian, in Portland, which was in the situation where they're trying to bring more and more online, like all newspapers, more and more online work into the organization and having all the reporters write online. They did this, however, by creating a new rule that says that all of the reporters have to file 25% more stories online than they currently do, and then another 15% in the second half of the year. Those kinds of rules got the notice of their alternate weekly competitor, Willamette Week, which outed them by publishing the rules that had been published. And so we're in the situation now. I think all newspapers are looking at ways to increase the workload that the reporters are doing. But if it's done in this kind of a way, very baldly that way, I think we've got problems. So it's a conditional rant. They have to do it a little bit more wisely.
I think I'd agree, Roy. Would you, Adam?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's sort of a heavy-handed mandate, the way you described it.
What do you have?
Rant and rave, or I should say rave and rant for the Boston Globe. First, a rave for Eric Moskowitz's totally fantastic story on Jared Remy's history of violence. It was an incredibly difficult story to read on Sunday morning. It made it seem all but a foregone conclusion that he would, in fact, kill Jennifer Martell, the mother of his child. I want to pair that, however, with maybe arched eyebrow is a better way to put it than a rant for the Boston Globe, also turning the question of whether Jerry Remy, his father, should keep his job broadcasting Red Sox games in light of what his son did. I think there's a real conversation to be had about the responsibility or lack thereof that Jerry Remy has for what Jared Remy did. I don't think the pages of the virtual pages of the Globe are the place to do it, especially because the Globe is a John Henry-owned paper and Jerry Remy is a John Henry employee. It struck me as odd.
Kelly,
terrific story by Eric.
Kelly, I have a clue as to what you have. Tell us.
Oh, I have a rant against David Gregory being held up by the NBC as the second coming of, leaders of the Sunday morning talk shows. They're in the toilet for a reason. He's a great reporter. He's bad in this role. And I will have a tiny little rave for him. He's doing some tweet interviews online. I think he should be online and be a great reporter and get off the desk of Meet the Press.
Not Meet the Press. All right.